Continuing with the Brownell's SKS maintenance series, with disassembly covered in the previous video, now we're ready for cleaning. In part 1, we referenced the importance of properly cleaning your SKS when you've been using corrosive ammo. So before cleaning, a quick explanation is in order. Corrosive ammunition is referring to the preservative chemicals used in the primers of almost all military surplus ammunition fired through these rifles. When ignited, these chemicals deposit potassium chloride or sodium chloride. These harmless alkalis, when exposed to hydrogen and oxygen in the ambient humidity, form an acid, resulting in the rusting and pitting of the metal surfaces. Therefore, the best way to clean the piston, bolt, and its components is to drop them in a tub of water for a couple of minutes to dissolve any salts, followed by a brushing. Ensure the gas port is not clogged and that the piston extension can move freely in its recess. Remove the parts and dry them thoroughly using a rag or a blow dryer if you have one. Note, if you're uneasy about using water on your rifle, water-based solvents like Ed's Red or Shooter's Choice Aqua Clean may be a better alternative. With these parts now cleaned and dried, use a brush to remove carbon buildup from the piston extension and its spring. Once that's complete, spray out the gas cylinder. Check that the piston will slide freely through it. If not, you'll need to clean it out further with your brush. Next, use a nylon brush to clean the recoil spring assembly, the magazine assembly, and trigger mechanism. Once the caked on carbon's removed, spray the mechanisms out with a spray cleaner like TCE and dry them with a cloth. Now we'll move to the bolt and carrier. If using non-corrosive ammo, you can spray the parts and give them good brushing. Make sure that the rail cuts on the carrier and recoil spring recess are free of debris. The firing pin must move freely in the bolt, so be sure to check this. It may require cotton swabs to clean out the firing pin channel. Then wipe the bolt and carrier off before moving on to inspect the firing pin, extractor, and extractor spring. Excessive carbon on these parts can impede their function, so clean and dry them well. Note, if you're using corrosive ammo, you'll have to clean the strip bolt to remove the buildup by dropping it in water to soak for a couple minutes and drying it thoroughly. Lastly, we'll clean the bore and chamber. You'll need a cleaning rod, the correct caliber bore brush, jag, patches, and a suitable solvent. Again, if you've been firing corrosive ammo, you'd first need to run a bit of water down the bore to rinse out any salts and give it a few passes with a brush before proceeding to the normal cleaning process that we'll cover now. To start, run a solvent-soaked patch through the bore and allow it to sit for the recommended amount of time by the manufacturer. Next, we'll switch to a bore brush and run it back and forth through the bore to scrub out any fouling, making sure to make 10 to 15 complete strokes. Then we'll switch back to our jag and follow up with a few solvent-soaked patches to wipe out the bore. Run a clean, dry patch through to check your progress. If the patch still shows signs of fouling, you'll want to repeat the procedure until all the fouling is removed. With that, the gun is now properly cleaned and ready for lubrication, and we'll be going over that in part 3.